So you've told us your experience, and we even call this this video we're doing now, this talk, we call it tech stories, because for me it's more about the stories.
Yeah.
Everybody can go and read 1, 2, 3 steps to get a remote job, whatever. But it's about the stories, because I feel that that's what a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
You know, you watch a lot of I see a lot of CV advice, how to print your CV, how to soak it inside water for 3 days and before you submit, and all those kind of stuff. I said, no, you know, all those are just theories.
Yeah.
Let people say their stories, and that is why I love that we started with the story. And so I'm going to be continuing my line of questions. And the first thing I will ask you, told us how your first remote job was. We knew that it was amazing. It was amazing, and I'm sure you upgraded your life.
Yeah.
I'm sure you probably changed TV, changed anything, got your first car, stuff like that. which are all very fantastic. So I know a lot of people, especially people that have not worked for any remote company, want to know, okay, what are the range of salaries? You've hinted a lot of stuff. You talk about what you heard guys were collecting. What was you even gave us your first pay and all that. So what was the range, and
Right, so
even geographically?
Yeah, so for the range, I would say it's anything from $0 to $10,000. It really depends on your skill.
That's per month.
Yeah, per month, your skill level. So, but then the higher you go, the more difficult it is to earn. It's you can't be. It's not like you walk on the road now and you see one guy earning 10,000. Don't think the people earning 10,000 in Nigeria are not up to 2. So, let me clear on that. Let me clear on that.
Let's not talk.
Well, yeah. So you just have something realistic, depending on your experience per se. But you know, anything from $0 to I know people earning $100 per month. Yeah, people earning, you know, 10,000. Like I said, you won't see them on the road easily.
Yeah, sure.
And they won't even tell you.
They won't. Nobody.
They tell you.
Nobody. In fact, I think.
Again, let me talk about something really important. Again, one thing that really helped me to know like my value in the market was the fact that the people I was relating with were very open.
Okay. Oh, cool.
With their compensation.
Cool. True.
You understand? Like my friends were able to tell me in the next place, like, okay, this is how much I earn. You understand? We saw it as a normal thing. Yeah, as long as you are not doing beggy.
They will share it with you.
Yeah, they will tell you your salary now. You now say, this guy has money. Let me at least, even if it's empty at 200. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
True.
Don't do that.
It helps to be open.
Yeah. So if you want people to respect you, if you want people to respect you enough to be able to tell you what they earn in the tech space, you can't go around begging for money. You understand? But then one thing that really helped was because like I said, the people around me, they were able to tell me this is how much I'm earning. So, you know, based on what they are earning, I could, you know, infer what my own earnings should be.
I would like to add something to that, because I like that you mentioned that when I got my first writing gig, this is not job, gig. I was lucky that it was odd zero.
Yeah.
Zero already had the standard. Zero then was paying, and at that time they were paying $350 per article. The dollar then, like you said, dollar was I think that was $350, have you? So they were paying $350 per article. And that's how I just started. This is the amount. I just started. And before you know it, I started writing for another company. I think they were paying $400. Then Circle CI started at 4. But because I became this star writer at Circle CI, they started paying me as much as $600-700 per for just one article. And sometimes you get to write 4 in a month and stuff like that. I then got an offer, so to speak, from this guy. I don't want to mention his country, but people from that side are
I know the country.
And it was like, I've seen your articles around there. I was like, cool, more deal, more gigs, more this thing. Because at that time I was writing for Twilio, I was writing for which other company was it? Zero, Twilio, Circle CI, Sanity. So, and I was okay, another gig, because even then I wasn't applying again. People were coming. Log Rocket. They were sending me. It's their manager that will send me email that we saw your work. We want you to write for us. I had moved from level of applying. I was no longer applying. I had that this thing already. And this guy was talking and all that, and it was like he would need me to. So I now told him my charge. So I was like, he is looking at something like paying me $1,500 for like 25 articles. What 25 people said of 50? Everything in mathematics in my head. It was like $20 per article. I was like, hey, you and who? I just deleted the Slack channel. Just bounced out of the old this. I was like, this guy is not worth my time. But that's not even the story. The story is that there were a lot of Nigerian guys in that channel. A lot of boys in that channel. And they were earning, he was paying them that $15, $20. And they just had to make do with that and hope they write like maybe 10 before they can earn like $200. I mean, on one, I just drop one single article like bam. And this thing. So knowing your worth, especially when you have proven that worth. We're not saying that you just learned writing yesterday and you say, oh yeah, give me $350 per article. No, you know what you can produce. So I knew, because I was already writing way before I got the Zero stuff. They gave me because I couldn't. They dropped me out of the interview at the final stage or second to the final stage. So and they felt this was one of our most promising candidates. Let's not just let him go like that. Let us give him. So I had already shown proven capability. But starting from there, because what if I went to go and start from somewhere and the guy was paying me $50? I would think that's what I'm worth.
Well, which now brings us to the point of it's more about the culture in Nigeria. People don't like talking about how much they earn.
No, people should not.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I don't think Nigeria is. I'm not encouraging that for anybody.
No,
because Nigeria is not.
So, but now, if you want to know your worth, now, if you are someone like I said, now it all depends on your drive, right? Yeah. You can DM people that try to build rapport with some certain people in your field.
Yeah.
You know, people that you know that are doing well in this field. Build rapport with them. Don't ask them for money. You don't.
You keep emphasizing
even
that.
If you are broke,
people don't ask them for money.
Even if you are
said
broke,
it like 10 times
don't
already.
ask them for money. Yeah, like you see, asking them for money is the worst thing you can do. Don't ask them for money. Don't, because if you ask them for money, anytime they see your message like this, there's this group of people. They just add you there. And you understand. I can't discuss money with someone that is always billing me. I cannot.
True.
I can't come and tell you what I'm earning.
True. Because it's just like I'm giving you more this thing to bill me more.
Exactly. Yeah. Right? So you can build rapport with these people. You understand? And then you can, hint like, tell them like you applied for this job. How much do you think? You understand? How much you don't have to go and ask them how much are you earning. You can ask them like how much do you think?
You don't need it.
How
much do you think I?
Yes. So from there they can, they can hint you on
True. Yeah. So now let's get to more practical stuff.
Yeah.
Seeing a lot of stories, experiences and stuff. But let's look at some more practical stuff. How do you search for opportunities?
All right. So first things first, that Golang job, I got it through that Genity job. I got it through
Angel.co.
Yes, Angel.co. Yeah, I got it through Angel.co. But after Genity, I knew like the international space is not easy. Like
at all.
And then I had how many years of experience? I think I had just 4 to 5 years of experience. And I know like it's still not very easy at that point. So I knew like the one of the fastest ways for me to get a remote job then was used through one of these talent platforms like Andela. So then Andela already changed their model. Okay. So then they don't even train devs again. They were running like a
talent
farm. Yeah. So they just companies come to Andela, they pay for devs and then they get devs in Andela. So that was what I did. So I knew like the fastest way for me to get a remote job with Andela. So I didn't even waste time. So after Genity, I left Genity August. I got a job by September.
Quick turnaround.
Yeah. So I did the Andela interview, and then they drilled me. Oh my God, they asked so many questions. Bro. you gonna know say
Say,
Andela no be beans.
We
So,
did now NASA.
like they ask
That's
so
what I'm
many
working
questions. So nobody has asked me anything about time complexity before. Big notation.
Big
right?
connotation, yeah.
And then that was the first place they asked me, like the developer asked me. He told me to write an algorithm. I wrote. He asked me, okay, what's the time? What's the
So you
time
have not faced
complexity?
any DSA challenge?
No, I
data
have.
structures
But
and
now
algorithm?
the thing is, I started doing Akara in 2019.
Akarank.
Yeah. So like I said, now it's all about it's all about the hunger to learn.
Okay.
I never met these challenges before I learnt them. I just know this thing exists, and then I learnt them. So I didn't wait till I had to.
You were proactive about.
Yeah, I didn't wait till I had to learn
Your
them
knowledge.
for interviews. Yeah, so then when the guy asked me the questions, I was like, I don't do all these things now. You understand? So but then one part where I didn't really perform very well during the interview was at the systems part. He asked some really, really complex questions about systems and stuff like that. When we were talking about running transactions on MongoDB, and then he now told me there's one particular thing you have to do in MongoDB before you can run transactions. I don't know if that's a valid interview question, Chavo, because I already
It's too niche.
yeah, exactly. Like I told you, like MongoDB can do transactions.
Yeah, sure.
But he wanted me to tell him one thing. I didn't discover that thing till like 6 months later. And then that thing was replica sets. I don't know if they changed it now, but you have to run replica sets
To
to run transactions on MongoDB. But I didn't know that answer. You understand? And then he now asked me what's the difference between Docker Swarm and Docker. I'm like, hey, but what is all this? But anyways, I got it even after that.
I think like getting a little bit technical. I think the MongoDB thing, this cap theorem thing now.
Yeah.
I think those SQL databases are more optimized for availability
and
and
durability.
there's durability part, but I think consistency, but no
Strong
consistency. Really? No.
Is it not strong consistency?
SQL is SQL.
So are you talking about
Consistency.
SQL or?
No SQL.
Yeah. Okay. No SQL. No SQL is.
No
not
SQL is
consistent.
partition and availability.
Yeah. It's not.
Availability.
That's easy to scale.
You have-
Horizontal,
that's why
horizontal
some
scaling.
things like transactions are not.
Yeah,
because transaction is all about consistency.
Now the thing is, a lot of people now don't even understand. Now, even the cap theory team, the first time I heard it was one interview I did, and then I had to go and read about
Okay, what to
availability, consistency, and partitioning.
Yeah.
So the thing is, the people didn't even know MongoDB could do transactions at this point. Well, this guy knew, right? So that's why I knew, okay, this guy is a bad guy.
You're a bad guy.
A lot of even devs came online, they were tweeting, MongoDB cannot do transactions. I'm like, MongoDB now can do transactions since version 4. But a lot of people don't even know
Which
at
is
that point.
which also tells to be like being current.
Yeah.
About
So a lot of people, because me myself, I have done transactions on MongoDB. Like I've done transactions, so I know MongoDB supports transactions, but people didn't know at that point. So then I got into Andela, and then again. So now the thing with platforms like Andela, platforms like Turing, platforms like TopTal is
Top.
there's this bias these companies have. It's not like it's,
Including
a fact.
Andela.
It's not really a fact. No, not Andela. The companies that are going to these platforms now, there's this bias these companies have now. They feel if they're hiring you from TopTal
Okay.
or Andela or Turing, you are good.
Yeah.
But then if you apply them directly, you are not good. It is literally the same CV.
Is it not?
Now, the company I
Yeah.
got in Andela was a very, very big US company.
Yeah.
I was working for a very big, as at September, I got a job with a very big US company in the US. They run one of the biggest gaming platforms in the US. Very big companies. I know if I submit my CV and they see Shegun, Nigeria, and they will not accept
But
it.
I think is a permissible bias because what they why they are doing that is because they know that
The process it takes to
those
get
guys
into
have
Andela.
taken care of the selection process.
Okay, yeah.
They're taking care of the drilling process.
Well, yes. But the thing is, if I apply directly, I'm still the same guy.
It's the policy. Is it what I like to know? Is the policy? It's just like referrals.
Yeah.
If I am in NNPC or I know a guy in NNPC, and they say there's an opening. Fikayo, we even have this opening in our company. I say I have a guy for it. You will enter straight. Doors will open straight.
Yeah. So
But if you go on your own, security will bounce. They will try you to put your
so
envelope
I
by
already
this thing,
discovered
security
this,
stand.
and then that was why I just went straight to Andela.
Like you said,
I didn't even like waste my time. I just used
going
Andela,
direct.
and then I got the job with a very big US company, like very, very big US company, and So that company also, I would say like it's one of the companies that had a huge impact on my career because that was one of the companies where I worked, and then they had a lot of processes around code quality. I haven't worked at a company like that had so many processes around code quality. That was when I learned how to write tests. Before I used to write tests, but that was when I
standard.
Like the lead guy, the lead is an Asian guy called David. I know. If you write a test, the guy will tell you are writing a lazy test. Go back. So, your commit cannot pass. Your first commit cannot pass.
Are they the ones that you said have like 70% code coverage?
Yeah. The ones, test coverage. When it comes to test coverage. So because of that guy, I had to learn stuff called, that was like, again, I've been developing, but I started to understand what the old term code paths, code branch means. Because now, if you are writing 6 if statements, you must write the scenario to test that 6 if statements.
Those are 6 eventual conclusions.
So you must write it. So you cannot write. Wow,
one direction.
David will not
success
agree.
path.
He's an Asian guy. He will not collect it.
Asians can be very thorough.
He will not. And the guy is always online. What? David is always online. If you come, so basically,
watching you.
Our stand up is 5 p.m. because Nigerian time.
Yeah.
But then I think it's around 10 p.m. there. So even if you come online 3 p.m., David Green, you will see David's status.
Which country was it?
David is, I don't know if it was in the US. But David speaks English like an American.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you come online.
Come on, his name is David.
So if I come online 3 p.m. Nigerian time, which is around maybe 7 p.m. there, David is online. If I stay online till 2 p.m., which is around 7 p.m. their time, 2 a.m. So if I stay online till 2 a.m., which is around 7 p.m. their time,
it's still there.
David is still online. I'm like, this guy.
He's an Organa. They come up for office.
David made me understand what it means to be like a senior guy. It was at that point and I understand like senior is not the reason why they are paying senior this amount and they are paying junior. It's not because of the name.
I remember a time you came to me like, sir, how does one turn to senior? I want to turn to this senior thing. I'm glad experience taught you. I didn't know experience made you.
Yeah, he was looking at the senior thing as the way for more money. But to just have that senior in your, way, like, your name like this, companies will just start coming for you. Everybody will believe you. So that David guy, he was always there. David is always there. If you are doing this project, David is there. If you are doing this, David is there. No matter what, David is always there. Like, so I was like, no. So this senior thing is not that good
at all. So now you're saying that it's easier to ride on those job platforms.
On those job platforms.
Though we still need to talk about that because I think Oyinda came 2 episodes ago to come and talk about Zandela experience, and I think. One thing we'll touch on is layoffs. The current, the current layoff tsunami and what it has done because it has made those platforms not even as strong as they used to be before. But that's a general problem. It's not a platform problem. The whole world is experiencing it, whether you went direct or went to a platform. But yeah, sure, those riding on those platforms is one because I think you also worked with Turing.
Yeah. So I'm getting to Turing. So I left Skills because Skills was working with Ruby on Rails. Okay. And then I don't want to do Ruby. So now I am someone that, like I said, I've always been very, very strong-willed. I've always been very, very stubborn. I believe myself. So even if you are giving me 20 million, if this thing is not something I know I will do next year, I won't take it. So I left the job. That was like the first international job. That was like my highest. So let me even talk about like how much money I was being paid at Skills. I was being paid so much money then.
Give us an idea.
Yeah.
No specifics.
No, I'm not giving specifics. I was being paid so much money then. Like, my house rent was not even up to half of what I was earning. Like, my house rent was not up to half. So, like...
To tell your house... Solid.
No, those guys, it was soft.
They said 2 boys.
It was soft. Yeah. So, there was this other Cameroon guy. This other Cameroonian that I was working with, that we were both at the same company. I told the guy like, Alpha, guy, I want to leave. Like this Ruby on Rails thing is not for me, and I don't see myself doing Ruby on Rails. You understand? And then it seems like it's a requirement here, and it seems like I would not be able to meet up because they give us tax in Ruby on Rails, and then it takes us 1 week. It takes other people like 1 day to do the tax, and then we now. So it seems like we're having performance issues.
Yeah.
You understand? So then I told my manager, I said, yeah, that they can account for that, but I don't really see myself because then I was already into Go, and I liked Go. You understand? So even if I want to do anything, let it be either Go or Node.js, right? So then I told the Cameroonian guy, like, Alpha, I'm leaving. And then the guy was like, no, him is not leaving. That this money that they are paying him, he has not seen this money in his life.
When village people are not pursuing him.
I told the guy, he said, no, like,
is he a family man?
He's not a family man, but sorry to say, I hope the guy does not see this time. But he was in the trenches.
Okay.
We do video calls sometimes, and then his environment.
Wait, he's making that money and he has not left the churches.
He just started making the money.
Okay.
Yeah, so we do video calls at times, and then his environment is not.
That one cannot leave now.
You know,
you've done like 4 jobs before that.
Yeah, like me, I was alright. Like, even if I'm hungry, I'll go to my family house at least. Food day.
Food is at home.
Food is at home. So then I used to eat a lot at my family house. I do. Anytime I don't have money like that, maybe if I stay, there's nobody, I just go to the house. There's always food. There is always food. So the guy probably like he has been struggling, and then he had then he saw the opportunity. The guy did not want to leave it. But me, I just feel like.
So you didn't see opportunity for growth, even though there was money.
No,
you didn't. You know that you are not growing.
Well, they said later on that they want to port their legacy services, because their legacy services was written in
the Ruby thing.
Yeah, we are written in Ruby. So they want to port their legacy services to Node.js. So that's why they're hiring guys like me now. Okay. That could be Node.js, you understand? So, but they say for now. And that for now is looking like a 1 year for now. So that's like, no, I can't come and be stressing. I know. I've built my skill level in 2 languages. I don't want to come and... Yeah, so that's why I was like, okay, let me just resign. And then it was fine. Everything was fine. And they didn't blame me for it, because they said they didn't communicate properly. Because the talent matcher now, the person that, because there are people called Talent Matcher and Andela that link you to this job. So the guy told me like, they are looking for JavaScript guys. And then he asked me to write Ruby. So the guy was like, I should not, like, it's fine. It's not my fault. I didn't understand. And then so I left the job. And then in less than 2 weeks, I got another Golang Grow. I was hot that time. I was in my prime.
You're still very much in your prime.
No. That time I don't fail interviews. That was how hot I was. Like every interview. No,
I remember.
Every interview was a hit.
Like,
if you want to reject me,
you are the one interviewing them.
Don't just interview me. Like if you want to reject me, just reject me. Don't set me, because it's set a meeting, I'll bust your head.
And I think one of the things I used to hear about, you used to update me a lot, both the process and the event itself. And I think one thing I liked was how you pursue knowledge, because me, that's my entire life. You see my book, very distinct. Yeah. Books are all around me and everything. Pursuing knowledge, because when you can come to an interview and you just know, like I even told there was time I even told my wife, I said, these days, because I ported to writing full time, from full time development to writing full time. It got to a time I don't practice for writing interviews. If the job is writing, I'm just waiting for the day. And once the day comes,
so that was how
I'm just going to enter and just go to that talk.
That was how, in fact, that was how good I was with interviews. Like, I am not knowledgeable now, right? But then I was really, really good at
just hot.
Yeah.
Because then I remember you bought subscription on Brilliant.org.
Yeah. So there was this other Algo Expert.
System Expert. Because I even shared, I got your login for System Expert.
And again, the anchoring test I've been doing since 2019 was really like, a lot of these companies, they send anchoring links, and then
sure.
I usually like pass all their tests on Anchor. I said on Anchor, yeah. So yeah. So in less than 2 weeks, I got a new job, and then I resumed like I think was it 15th November? I can't remember, but I know I resumed in like 2 weeks. So they told me to wait for like 2 weeks before I resumed, and then and then so this company also, it was a Golang company. Right?
Okay, so
we are building a search
square
engine.
peg in square hole.
Yeah. So we are building a search engine. No, I don't think we were building. They already built the search engine. So I just came
improving.
in. Yeah. So we are improving the search engine. So they needed me to add certain features for certain regions.
Okay.
Understand? So I had to work for. So it's so funny. When I was integrating the Russia, and so there's Russia and Ukraine search website.
Yeah.
And so they needed me to integrate it into our own search platform. So when I was integrating the Russian and the Ukraine market, was when Ukraine and Russia started fighting.
Because I was about to mention that's a weird assignment to do. Like, yeah, these two people that are having conflict.
That was when they started fighting. that was 2022.
Yeah. 2022. Yeah.
That match
Because
period.
I remember I wrote a white paper then. I wrote a security white paper then about hacker. I think hackers and hoodies. That was the name of the white paper I was writing then. And that Ukraine war, I had to research it too, because Russia was doing some cybersecurity attacks even before they started firing missiles. They started attacking some Ukraine cyber. So 2022. Yeah, 2022. Yeah, sure.
So when I was
timeline.
integrating, the Ukraine and the Russian, and then that was when they started fighting. I was like, what are the odds? So then I finished it. So, but this company, I'll say, is like the chillest company I've worked with.
Okay.
So this was a German company. Those guys,
German.
yes, those guys are flexing.
He's European now.
We
European
do stand up like 11 a.m.
people enjoy their life.
And then, by 3 p.m., everybody's offline. And then on Fridays, nobody's online. And, they were doing 4 days, they walk off. These guys are flexing, Like, for real, it was so funny. Because, and then the tech lead guy would just come online like,
everybody's fine.
Yeah, so please just, no rush. He was like, Solomon, no rush, just, take your time.
I think was that not the company that you said by Tuesday you were done with what you were doing?
Yeah, for the week. Those guys are like, and then I'm like, don't worry, next week we'll just, just relax. Like when you, like when you go to like, how do I explain it? Like a massage center, and you're like, have your seat. What do you want? That was how chill the company was. It was so chill. And again, they already have the products.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
So there was
not
like it wasn't like we
launch.
were doing any like important thing. What we even do, we were just experimenting. And they were just so chill and everybody was flexing. And then my contract finished.
Oh.
Yeah, so my contract finished, and then they were like I said, they weren't really doing anything. Everybody was flexing. They're like, no, like there's no need.
Don't need to renew.
Yeah, because they said I already handled what they needed someone to handle for them. So then I said I was hot too. We asked my contract has not like I was still my contract was at its last month. I already got the job with Tori.
Because I know that you made the switch. Because
With
1
Turin.
minute you were in Andela, I blinked and you were in Turin.
Yeah.
Because even I think it was Bello that made me know that you were.
Yeah, I was resigning Andela today. I was resuming Turin tomorrow. And then Turin was now with a salary increase. Oh my God, I was just flexing.
So the thing is, this hotness is not for you alone. You need to tell people, how do you prepare for interviews?
All right, so there is no definitive answer to there's no silver bullet to this. So the thing is, first of all, you need to understand the requirements of the job.
Okay.
Right, you read through the job description, you understand the requirements, and then you need to study against that. But outside that, you need to know very basic things like DBs, you understand? You need to know the difference between DBs. You need to know the difference between... you need to know your algorithms. You need to know your data structures. You need to know you need to know the difference between ON and O log N, you understand? You need to know all those other stuff. Like, those ones are basic stuff. But outside that, now let's assume you already know, you have the knowledge, right? You need to be confident in me. One of the reasons why I was always, it was always easy for me to get jobs because during the interview, I was always talking as if I know what I'm saying.
Was there ever a time you were talking, you really thought you were saying the right thing, and you found out you were
there are times where, of course, they ask questions that I don't know.
Okay.
And I try to answer the parts I know, and I'm like, okay, for this other part, I don't know. I've not,
Okay, let me rephrase this question, right? So that you can give us, because people, no matter how much you tell people that it's not about what they do, they want to know the steps. They want to know what your we call it week in the life of someone preparing for interview or whatever. So let's say you have a week to prepare for an interview. Obviously, you've looked at the requirements. You know that you match like 60% of it, so you're good to go. Once you match like 50-50, you are good to go. Like if you are going for a back-end interview now, and it's in a week time, how do you prepare? What do you revise? So what do you learn anew? How much time do you spend on them?
The answer is going to be very funny. Okay. I've only prepared for an interview once.
Okay.
And that was demos, right?
Yeah.
And that was that time I had Sakpa. Sakpa was dealing with me. So I was like, this job, I must get this job. And then that was when I learned systems design. You understand? So that systems design course I took was very, very, very fundamental in all the other jobs I got, because they always ask the basics. Like, always had to fall back to, all right, and build a chat system.
Yeah.
Design a streaming application for music.
Storage.
You understand?
Google Drive.
Questions, all those other kind of stuff. You understand? All right. I have, let's say, I have a watch, for example. I have a smartwatch, right?
Yeah.
I want to, like one of the questions I had, that was last year, was I have a smartwatch, right? I want to be able to store all the steps that I take. You understand? What kind of DP will you use and why? So now that kind of question now.
Time is serious.
Yeah. So I'm coming. So that kind of question now. They're like, okay, first of all.
I'm trying to ask.
Okay. Yeah. So they're like, first of all, you're like, okay, you're like, I won't use a SQL DB. Why? You understand? And then you get into the why. I was like, okay, SQL DBs use B-tree indexes, number one.
Yeah.
If you're doing a lot of writes with B-tree indexes, it can be a bottleneck because you always have to recalculate and rebalance your tree. You understand? Now, when I gave this answer, the interviewer liked it. Now, you see this particular answer now still goes back to the systems design course that I did.
Yeah.
You understand?
Definitely.
Now, to learn to pass interviews, you need to first of all understand your systems fundamentals. You need to understand. You don't just need to know this is MySQL, this is this one. You also need to be very, very good with DBs. You need to understand the technologies behind databases.
I have a book here. Just because we're talking about that. It's like free advert for the book. I have a book here called Database Internals.
Yeah.
Everything you're saying now.
Yeah.
It's inside here. This is not talking about MySQL, whatever. The structure.
Yeah.
I think the LSM trees, B trees, and stuff like that. Yep. That is what. So, because from what I've noticed, you are not someone that says, "Oh, interview is coming, I'm preparing."
No.
You are someone that stays prepared.
I'm always
a Boy Scout kind of strategy.
Yeah.
You are always ready.
Yeah.
So it's about having a lifestyle of seeking knowledge. The knowledge, the things you've seen that has been asked in different interviews or from different requirements. You look at a job, you look at a JD, you look at a job description, you see all the requirements. So you make your life out of studying all those things, knowing all those things. So with that, there's no, okay, when you want to prepare for an interview, this is silver bullet.
No.
Just know your stuff.
That's how it has always been for me, right? And maybe any other thing. So there was one time where, so one of the few times where I've had to prepare was where I know they were going to ask a question on a technology I've not worked with. So those kind of situations, for example, there was a time I had to prepare for Elasticsearch. So yeah, there was a job.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. So I haven't worked with Elasticsearch before. I have worked in companies that use it, but I've not had to, use it firsthand. Yeah. So that was when I had to learn. Now, I didn't take the normal approach of how to consume Elasticsearch, how to know how to query. What I learned was more about the engine behind Elasticsearch, how the indexing works.
Yeah.
You understand? How it's able to search things so fast. I've probably forgotten those things now because I don't work,
Definitely.
I don't work with the Elasticsearch.
It's
but-
like pray for example.
yeah. So like that's also one thing again. I feel like as a developer, you need to learn the fundamentals. You don't, everybody knows Elasticsearch uses HTTP. Everybody knows you can query. Everybody knows. You understand? You need to understand like the core tech. Why?
And the why.
You understand? So that was what I learned,
What makes it efficient?
and I was able to impress the guy.
Okay.
Because when the guy asked me, I wasn't giving the generic answers that Elasticsearch is used to index
You had
text.
range.
No, yeah, I told him why, indexing text on Elasticsearch is very efficient, and why it is not efficient in a DB like MySQL or Postgres. Why it is very, very efficient on Elasticsearch, and then the guy liked it. So that was one of the rare cases where I've had to prepare for an interview because I know this particular thing I'm going to be asked. I don't know it, but for the other ones, I know it. If you want to ask me about partitioning, I am there. You want to ask me about sharding and then how it leads to eventual consistency. I already know all these things.
All those concepts.
Yeah, I know all these concepts. If you want to stream like I said, a wristwatch application or something, or logs, for example, you want to write a lot of logs. You're looking at something like LSM, understand a log structured merge.
Yeah, like
kind of
Kafka.
DB. Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
Kafka,
and Level DB, Myrox DB, and the rest. So now the thing is, you need to understand this. And again, you also need to understand that in MySQL,
yeah,
you can actually use an LSM tree in MySQL.
yeah,
So there's Myrox, which is the DB engine.
Yeah.
But then now all this technology now are very, very niche.
yeah.
I don't even think Myrox has up to 2,000 stars. When I wanted to use the DB, I was like,
Are you sure this thing will not?
all this library,
Oh, you
way,
have stop supporting it.
all this library
now
that
be
people
stranded.
don't use to talk.
Yeah.
And then when you look for the Golang version of those DBs, you see one very random guy.
Yeah.
One very random guy, you're like, this is my Golang version. And then you see a commit history of 2 years ago. And then you're asking yourself, should I use this thing or not? Because those are not mainstream
Technology.
tech, that people use. You understand? So the times I've had to prepare was when I know they're going to ask questions on things that I
Just
don't
vendor
know.
specific stuff.
Yeah, that I know that, okay, what they require in this question, or let's say they require high level knowledge of Apache, is it Cassandra?
Yeah, Cassandra, Kafka, or maybe Redis or something.
I know Redis. Let's say Cassandra. I haven't worked with Cassandra before,
Okay.
but I know the concept behind Cassandra. You understand? I can now go and study
Cassandra.
You understand? Or when I see you're going to ask questions like graph databases. There are companies that use graph databases. You understand? And then I go and learn. I go and learn Neo something, Neo4j.
Yeah, no. Thank you.
Neo4j.
Neo4j.
Yeah. Do you know? I've learned so much that I can't even remember what I've learned.
What was?
Now I have actually done a course on Neo4j where I had to model 3D relationships.
Okay.
And when I saw how relationship works on GraphQL, it was like, guy.
On graph databases.
Sorry, on graph databases.
Me too. The first time I discovered graph databases, my head just did.
Like,
Because
wow,
so many problems I've had in the past.
we're solved.
This guy.
Like, we're so solved. Like, the aspect of 3D relationship,
Yeah.
you can't do that on
Relational,
MySQL.
you can't-
Like,
yeah.
I'm following you, you're following me. You have to create multiple records.
Definitely.
But on a graph DB, just a node.
The node is going to.
The node points to me,
Yeah.
points to you
What
back.
to-
So just one
relationship
node.
established.
Yeah, like so. I've learned so much stuff. So that's why when you do interviews, sometimes I just go to do reviews. You understand? Well, again, there's still so much stuff I don't know. You understand? So you can't.
And I think that is the, you see, just that thing you said, that's the silver bullet. That's the silver bullet, because for someone that keeps learning,
Yeah,
knowing that there are things you don't know,
yeah,
searching for why, because like you said, and for me, even interviews, see, what sets you apart is not what other people have can also go and read,
yeah,
is how you're able to tell them, why is this not working? Why was, like, I think one question that made me say, okay, I'm going to hire this guy. The day that you guys came that day, I asked you, I don't know if you remember, I said that I had this problem one time. I was running a bunch of queries against a PHP API with a MySQL database. If I query a certain number of records, I get response. If I query more records, I get nothing. That the server does not even return anything. Now, what do you think is the problem? And you immediately told me it was a memory problem. Like you didn't even. And when I had that problem years back, I knew how I cracked my head.
Wow.
And that day, so it was one of the problems you've had that you just keep in your,
Now, do you know the funny thing?
All of fame of problems.
No, the funny thing is,
And
okay, I've never had that problem before.
but you told me.
Yeah, well,
Immediately I told you that, okay, some scenario, I was having this problem 3 years ago. This and was happening. What do you think was the problem? Immediately you told me memory problem. I said, okay, this guy is going to this guy is going to work. So yeah, Boy Scouts rule, stay prepared. Stay prepared. Always learn your field. Make sure that you are learning deep, having that depth of knowledge.
Yeah.
Because we all want to have this breadth of knowledge because we want to qualify for 10,000 things. We want to qualify for 5 different jobs.
Yeah.
No. If you want to, I was telling my brother recently, I said, if I want to get a job. So like I was saying, like that was one of those problems that I had, and all those problems in your life as a developer that you put them in your hall of fame of problems. Like, when I face this problem, I know what my eyes saw when I face this problem. And immediately I asked you that you just said it was a memory problem on the server side. You are querying more than the server can hold its memory, and that's why it's just bouncing you, and definitely you are not catching the error very well. So it's all about like I was saying. I was telling my brother recently, like, if I want to get back in the job market, I can just go and carry Node. Just carry Node and just study Node like a madman. Just understand Node like a madman. Because it's not even just about the technology. It's about understanding the engineering around it.
Technology.
How to use it for your engineering needs, for your problem solving needs. That is what needs to be understood in interviews. Like, I once read a book on testing, and the whole testing thing became clear to me. Because I've been writing a lot of articles about testing and doing a lot of stuff around testing. But I always ask myself, like, how much test is enough test? How do you know you've tested enough? How do you know if you want to tell somebody test this particular component, what are the cases that you want to test? And I read that book. I think the book is called The Art of Testing. You can check it out. And it talked about the different types of tests you need to do. Numeric ones, logical ones. Like, it broke it down in a way that you can structurally apply to your test process. I know that as long as I cover all these bases, we'll definitely hit that 70% or 8%. We'll cover all the use cases because it exposed every kind of way problem, a bug can be introduced into a software system, and how you can write tests for it. And it grouped it. So it's not like you just guess.
That's the thing with tech. The thing with tech is there's always more to learn.
Yeah.
There is always more to learn. Like, you can learn, you can learn so many things, but there's still more.
Yeah,
There is still more to learn.
And that hunger and that consciousness is what helps you to continue to seek knowledge.
Yeah. So me, by default, I'm always learning. So anytime I'm going for an interview, it's as if this guys are asking me. I learned it yesterday.
Exactly.
It's always there.
Exactly.
So one thing also was, when the current company I work, right? So one thing that has helped me, I don't want to say stand out. So one thing that has made my tech lead, okay, no, it's not my tech lead, it's our engineering head.
Oh.
One thing that has made my engineering head, like working with me is the fact that, when I came into the company, instantly could feel my impact. So before, we were using a particular channel for communications between we were using RabbitMQ for communications between our microservices. And then we didn't want to do asynchronous communications. We wanted two-way communications, request and response. Right? RabbitMQ was breaking in production. I know this is a video. People will come and DM some RabbitMQ experts now. I see it's a lie. Did you? But wait.
Anything you do in engineering, people will challenge you.
But the thing was, RabbitMQ was stressing us, right? And then you know that strength of starting to, looking for
a new solution and all.
Yeah, and I know Nats is very lightweight. Nats is very, very. In fact, if you go on Nats page, the first thing they talk about is two-way communication. It's like Nats was built for streaming messages across microservices, and I was like, boss, let's use Nats. Immediately we switched to Nats. It stopped. Like the problem before, we couldn't handle a number of requests. We were handling times 2 of that request with Nats, and it wasn't breaking. Nice. At that point, my engineer was like, "This guy is a bad guy."
And everybody knows if you can just be the guy that solves one major problem.
Like this guy,
one major problem.
Like this guy is a bad guy, and it's just those things where if you do a lot of reading, if you are always doing, learning, so there's no learn A, learn B. Of course, learn systems, right? Learn systems, learn algorithms. But you need to keep going deeper. And that's where you get to learn things like this.
Learn the fundamentals. Yeah. Learn how things work. We'll wrap this section up with this question. What resources do you recommend? Like, what resources have you used and you're like, nah, okay, I think Algo Expert is...
All right, so I think Systems Expert helped me. Well, now I am considering, I don't know. I don't think if I should recommend it, but I think maybe it's because of my skill level. Because I feel like, most of the teachings.
Is this something that people that probably were at your level then will still benefit from?
Yeah.
Because you might be gauging things based on your level and be like, this one.
So the thing is, Systems Expert was not very, very deep enough for me, right? So it gave a very, very, high level explanation.
I watched all their videos too, so I know what you're talking about.
It's not very deep. It's not very hands-on, right? They talked about partitioning, sharding. They didn't actually do it.
Yeah, I don't know. They just discuss it.
Yeah, they just discuss
whiteboard stuff.
Yeah. So if you want to learn about, so I think Systems Expert is good to discover things that you don't know.
Okay.
So I think Systems Expert is like
to open your mind
for things that you don't know. Then from Systems Expert, you can now start researching things that you want to learn. Yeah. So I think like that's because Systems Expert, I think the first time I heard of partitioning was on Systems Expert. I didn't know there was something called partitioning before. I didn't know there was something called CAP theorem. You understand? So I learned all those things on Systems Expert. Then I now understand like, okay, these concepts exist. Then I started researching and learning these concepts. So I'll say you can learn, Systems Expert, systems engineering. And then I also took this guy's course on DB. What's his name? Hussein. These fundamentals for databases on Udemy. Yeah, so like, Hussein's course was hands-on. It was very deep. It was deep. Yeah, it was deep because it shows you things like two-phase locking, shows you things like, how the DB handles concurrency controls, how the DB handles conflicts. That's when you now begin to understand, like, there are ways you can write your logic, your queries, that it will still cause race conditions, right? So there are ways you should actually write. There are better ways to write your logic. You understand? So he talked about stuff like that. So he did hands-on partitioning. He did hands-on sharding. He did a lot of stuff that are really, really hands-on for SQL DBs. So I'll say like that course is a very, very, very good course. Like it gives you a very, very solid background. If you watch Hussein's course on SQL, you can go into an interview and you'll be fine. No. Except there are some interviewers that are very, very, in fact, they are just so knowledgeable. They will ask you questions.
But sometimes
you yourself you'll be like, but bros, you are not using this thing in production.
Sometimes like what you mentioned, some interviewers, you've already impressed them. They're just seeing how far you can go.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you remember this scene in Aquila and the Bee. Have you watched Aquila and the Bee? Yeah. Where is it Maurice Fishburne? Is that his name? Or the guy that trained her? This thing. When it came for their school, when they were doing their school spelling bee, Aquila was just dusting everybody. And I was like, as she was going back to her seat, he just told her, no, spell this. She was like, okay. She spelled it. And her friends hailed her. Woo! The guy gave her a harder one. He knew she would break. But what he's trying to say is that, is this someone we can focus on to be a champion?
Yeah.
Because all this small level one that you're doing in your local school, we understand you will dust all these people. You are special.
Yeah.
It now continue to push us. So some people, you've impressed them already. They know that, oh, these guys, they're just like, okay, let me keep pushing him to know how far he can go. So I can know how special this person is. And that's not an interview I feel that you should walk away from feeling that, definitely you don't want to miss any question. So once you miss a question,
You can't answer.
well.
So another thing is you can't really, like, there are very few rare cases where you get to answer all the questions in an interview, right? If you answer all the questions in an interview, I'm not sure that your interview guy is a very solid guy.
Like you just dusted everything.
Yeah, there will always be things he knows that you don't know, and there will always be things that you know that he doesn't know.
That he will ask you questions.
Exactly.
Like, okay,
so
expatiate on that.
again, you are human. You can't know everything.
At all.
You can't exactly. So there are very specific things that he would know that you, because of his experience, experiences are unique.
Yeah.
Right? Because of the kind of things he has done, there are certain things he will know. And then you, because of the kind of things you've done, there are certain things you will know. So, so there are very rare cases where you don't walk into an interview expecting that if they actually
dust all the questions.
no.
So, like now, I think I'll, as we start to wrap up, for developers, because I believe it's not only developers that are watching this, but we have been very developer biased. Development is not the only type of remote job.
Yeah.
But so I will still say, okay, for developers now, what materials do you recommend for data structures and algorithm?
All right, so for data structures and algorithms, there's one free course on front end masters.
Okay.
Of course, you can read books. Well, books are for like when you want to do a deep dive into these things. But this video.
Is it Bianca's course?
No, it's not Bianca's. This guy, Primogen.
Primogen, okay.
Yeah, he has it free. It's actually free. You don't need
free on front end masters.
Yeah, it's free on front end masters.
That's
It's
cool.
a 9 hours.
Yeah.
Algorithm course that covers everything from arrays to binary trees to quick sorts to linear search, from everything to binary search, covers everything. It's good. It's good.
That's cool, and it's free. So
yeah, it's free.
You can
it's
jump
free,
on it immediately.
So you can just go online and search algorithms front end masters. You'll see it.
And can I say it's implied that you should do Akarank stuff too? Practice with Akarank.
Oh yeah. No, but Akarank doesn't teach.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean practice.
Yeah,
because
what Akarank does
is
is
practice.
So even before I learned algorithms properly, before I started learning these data structures, algorithms, and the rest, I was already solving Akarank questions.
Okay.
So imperatively, right? I wasn't using the correct approach. So there are some questions that you solve using linked lists. There are some questions you solve with trees. There's some questions you solve.
Map.
Yeah, exactly. There's some questions you solve with hash maps. You understand? Well, I was already solving these questions with these solutions, but then I did not know these are what these things are called.
Yeah.
So that's why I would say you should do the algorithm questions first.
Okay.
So that it gives you you understand. You understand how you should. There are questions that are heap questions. There are questions that are recursive questions. You understand? So that's why I'll say do the algorithms course first before you start solving Akarank questions. Or if you are looking for a job and the algorithm course is 9 hours, we'll just do anyone. But do the algorithm course first.
Yeah, cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So thanks for that. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so let's call this our final section. So we're just going to run through these couple of questions, and they are more of situational questions, and
Yeah.
You, from your experience, tell us how you've been able to navigate yourself around all these kind of things. You've shared a lot of wonderful stuff already, and anybody that is determined will have picked a whole lot of stuff. I imagine myself, like let's say 2014, 2015, listening to this type of interview, I've made my life a lot easier, and that was like almost a decade ago. So the first thing is, how do you recover from losing a job?
All right. So right now, the market is not smiling. So there are very few jobs, and there is more competition because everybody's being laid off. Everybody's being laid off, right? But then I've always been a brute force guy.
Stubborn bullhorn approach.
I don't try. There's no magic spoon like you apply 8 p.m. to no. I keep applying. So what I did was, so I have a friend that acts like my PA, and then I'm like, okay, I'll pay you. Apply some amount of jobs for me every day.
That's efficient.
So that was what I was.
So
I'm in my house.
Sorry, I'm just hearing that, and it makes so much sense.
Yeah,
because a lot of people, that searching part, a lot of people are good, but they don't know how to search. They don't know how to. There's the knowledge, there's the hustle.
Yeah,
and being able to outsource that's brilliant.
And then you don't get emotionally attached to the rejections
because you
don't feel demoralized. So sometimes even if you see rejections, you understand. You are just see the application. Like you wake up the next morning, you see like 6-7 applications. You understand? So that was one thing that has helped me. So my friend does that a lot. He does it. But then when I get a job, I'm like, okay, no, chill.
No, definitely. Sure. You take over from there.
So, but anytime I'm without a job, he does the applications for me.
That's neat.
So, but the thing is, I tell him how he should do these things, and then how he should apply. He should, I always tell him to write cover letters. He always writes cover letters. He uses the job description. So, if they say we need someone that has worked with MongoDB and MySQL. I have done a job before where I moved data from a Mongo. I moved the application from a MySQL DB to a MongoDB. I'm going to include that in the cover letter.
Like something specific.
Yeah. To highlight
specific task. That you did.
Yeah. To highlight. So one thing you can do is you can take the job description, paste it, and then answer it. Like take the job description.
Like questions.
Yeah, like questions.
And use your CV to reply to it.
Yeah. So we need someone that, for example now, must be proficient in Python. Underneath, at so and so company, I worked with Python.
Exactly.
We're serving so and so requests. You understand?
Awesome.
And then delete all those job bullet points. Then just combine everything as a cover letter. Again, you just do some English work, but basically, those will be like the major points. Then take it from your CV. You understand? So we need somebody that has worked with Kafka at this company. I did this thing with Kafka at on so company. Make sure you highlight the companies with the experience. So that was one thing that has helped a lot. And good cover letters go a long way.
Awesome.
Your CV might be good. Your CV might be very good, but and I know very people find it difficult writing cover letter.
There's a lot of generic cover letters.
Let me give you another scope again. You can use ChatGPT.
Yeah.
What you can do is you can copy your CV. Now that's what I tell this my guy to do. Because again, I just tell him copy the CV. You can copy your CV, paste it on ChatGPT, paste the job description on ChatGPT, and then tell AI to draft you
a cover
letter from your CV and the JD. So the AI now is going to use the requirements to draft a cover letter from your experience. So it's going to make it tailored for that job.
That just gave me an idea.
Yeah.
And it's something I'm going to play around with. If it's nice, I will release it. And they opened the GPT store.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't know.
Oh, there's a GPT app store now where you can use natural language to develop your own custom GPTs. And for specialized functions, ChatGPT is all-purpose, general chatbot. But you can develop these apps, AI apps, on top of ChatGPT that are for specific purpose. So it would be cool to have a GPT that can just take all that information and generate what you just said.
Yeah,
that's going to be the sole responsibility of that.
GPT has made job application process really, really easy. So if you are someone that a lot of people don't like writing CVs, even me too, I don't.
It's a tedious process, especially when you have to apply to 50 places.
I don't. So you can just use ChatGPT, copy your CV, copy the JD, GPT draft me a cover letter.
And I like what you said, because you're not talking about some generic stuff that, someone was saying that people submitted assignment. Almost everybody submitted the same thing because they all put the assignment inside ChatGPT and it gave them virtually the same thing. But now you are using your experience, your destiny, just using AI to help you summarize it into something that is consumable for you. So that's so.
And again, in some cases, right, you don't always have to take the first answer. You can tell AI specifically, include my experience from so company. So, for example, now AI might generate. Let's say they are asking if you. Let's say one of the requirements is if you've worked with, let me say Go, right? If you've worked with Go, and then ChatGPT is like, yeah, I've worked with Go. You can tell ChatGPT, add at so company. I develop Go with so. ChatGPT will do that for you. So it's like a text generator. Yeah. It makes your life so easy.
Sure.
So
it has been making my life easy a lot. So I can relate. So the main answer to this question, just jump back into the game, jump back on the horse, and try to be smarter and play that game of numbers more.
Yeah, and again, always like have it at the back of your mind that you'll be rejected and you will fail interviews, right? So, but the thing again you need to understand about interviews is it's like a momentum, right? If you stop interviewing for a while, it will leave you. So don't expect if you've been in a job for like years, your first interview.
Your interview rusty.
No. So the reason why I was hot that period was because I was interviewing.
That's a nice point. Like it's momentum. And the fact that you just left a job, even if you joined for 5 years.
So sometimes if I fail an interview because of some questions, I will learn those things that I failed.
Build on it.
Yeah. The next interview, if you ask me anything related to that thing,
and that confidence of being in an interview setting is also it also compounds too. So next question is so how can one as an African, as an African we have extra biases working against us.
Yeah.
Extra biases, a whole lot. Like you said, once you see Shegun from where you are staying. Nigeria. So what can you do to supplement all those negatives from those biases?
Yeah, so like I said, let's start with someone that's starting from scratch. You don't have any international experience, right? First of all, you need experience. And where are you going to get the experience? In the Nigerian tech space.
True.
Nobody's going to give you $1.
Go and work for people.
You don't have anything. No, don't even. No, you have to start from, you have to start from 20K, 30K, 25K. Look for companies in Nigeria here that even if they are paying change, don't worry.
You know where you're going.
Just do it, right? Because you need it on your CV. Do it for like the first 3 years. You should just be looking for freelance role, and also if you are doing international jobs, also you should be mostly target this. You can target these countries. All these Ukraine, all this India,
Vietnam,
Saudi Arabia, all those companies that $500, $1K per month.
But at least you work internationally.
Exactly. You get. So what you're looking for now is the experience. Don't go and apply to US. Nobody will answer you. I see some people and they're like, boss, I've been applying. And then where you applied? Let me see your CV.
Just the same thing. Who did you say told you that?
That guy. Yeah. The guy opened my eyes. Maybe like guy. Look at you.
And you must have walked home that day, like someone that didn't just
there are people that finished from Stanford, from Princeton. You are going to apply where they are. Like, guy. You are coming from Benue State University. You apply again. Don't you get?
The last job one job I got, 1,000 people applied.
Yeah.
Within that, it was just 1,000 or 10,000. They hired only 89. 89. I think the percentage, because I can't remember whether it's 1,000. If it's 1,000, then definitely that's not the percent. The percent was like 0.09. So I was feeling special.
No, yeah.
Every day I was feeling special.
Yeah, and that's because, your experience.
Yeah.
And you've earned it.
Yeah, sure.
Like you've worked for notable companies.
I'm talking about 2002. 2021. Sorry.
Yeah.
2021. So
like me now, I have Andela on my CV. I have Turing on my CV. I have like 2 US companies. Everybody in the US know.
Yeah.
If I submit my CV, they will know, yes, this guy has worked with US companies. I have US companies. One of the companies I've worked with was based in California. right? So imagine working for a Californian company, and California is like the
That-
top tech company.
That my
in the US.
company was in
Yeah.
DC. I'm always proud.
Yeah,
Like, this is
exactly.
Washington DC.
So that one guy now, he finished from Uniben.
And it's no shade. It's no shade because those biases exist. They exist. They are
Yeah.
going to look at you that way. So don't.
Yeah. So of course they will reject you. Of course, even the email, the email server will not even collect your application.
It's where.
Bro,
Let's just.
so if you are looking to break into the international market, first you need local experience.
Yeah.
It is local experience that will help you break into the international market.
Cool.
And then after you've gotten enough local experience, you need to be good. I can't
Do that one for
emphasize it
yourself.
enough. You need to help yourself. Nobody's going to help you. Look at, you might not get very, very complex projects, right? But for example, if you are doing front end, look at Netflix, clone Netflix, clone YouTube, clone stuff that,
That are popular.
Now you don't have experience, right? The way you can impress people is with your portfolio.
Yeah.
You understand? Someone like me, I don't have a portfolio because I have experience. Once you check my CV, that's enough.
That's the portfolio.
But for someone that is just starting out, you don't have any notable name. What you have is your portfolio. You need to show what you've done.
To point
right?
somebody.
Exactly. There's nobody that I will see that you design something like Netflix. Very complex.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you to add the streaming. You don't have to add the streaming. Leave that one. Just design the OUI. You can click. If I go on the home page,
All
there's
the
a background
animation
video.
effects.
You get. There is nobody. Nobody.
True.
Yeah, so my current company also, I am also into the recruitment team because, I am also, I don't want to talk about that here, but I'm like a very, very senior guy.
Four boys DM me for a job.
I'm a very, very
You're on the
senior guy.
recruitment team.
Yeah.
Bros.
I'm a very, very senior guy
I
in my
will
company.
die on your neck, oh.
And there is no front end guy that will send me a link to something very, very complex because I know how complex Netflix is. You can't send me a link to something as complex as Netflix.
Or those Apple pages.
Or
Apple
those
product pages.
or those Apple product pages.
Very complex.
And then I would not like this guy. You understand?
Let's give this guy a chance.
Yeah, even if I've seen one Ogogoro University from, you understand, from Ekiti State, you understand. But the fact that I can look at your portfolio and see like this guy has done
He's a
things.
bad guy.
You understand? Now you need that impression. You get. I can see someone that has all pissed back. I know this guy is good. But now when I see you from one place and then I see that your portfolio is very tight, Abba. So that's one thing again. That's like the easiest way. One of the easiest ways to break into
Portfolio.
the
Show your work.
market.
I saw there was I've said this thing several times. There was this guy, and in the age where everywhere was thick with Angular, Vue, React, and anything, the guy just posted his portfolio website. Said he built it with jQuery. That thread had like 15 job offers. The thread of that post had not less than 15 job offers.
Wow.
And the guy said he said it's jQuery he used to build the thing. But when people see it, they don't need to even know what's working in the background. They know he went to. I think there's Marvel was releasing Endgame. And now used it to do like a trailer site and everything. All the characters, you can click into them, animation and everything. The thing was crazy. And the fact that he said he did it with jQuery. When all of us were running, React, save our life, Angular, save this guy did it with jQuery. And it's more impressive than anything we've seen out there.
Yeah.
That thread had not less than 15 job offers.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Do we care about the school you went to?
No.
Do we care about the country you came from?
No.
So-
so sometimes, right, you might not have someone to refer you. Like I had Casey
Yeah.
that gave me that breakthrough. You understand? Not everybody has someone like Casey.
Sure.
You understand? If you don't have a friend that is in that place that can give you, that opportunity to prove yourself. One thing you can do is, like I said, this portfolio thing. In fact,
Share your work.
if you're a back-end guy, build like a chat server. You understand? Let everybody know, like, okay, after what have you worked on? I built like a chat server, that kind of stuff. You understand? You can look for very complex. And the thing about this is, these things are online.
Yeah.
You can literally Google software projects or software challenge for back-end developers, complex software. They are going to give you a list, free code campus lists or software challenge, you can do that. If anybody sees those things, you know, like this guy.
Like there's this thing I've been thinking of, because it's difficult it's a bit difficult for backend people to show their work.
Yeah.
So there was this thing I've always been thinking of. I don't know whether you heard of the one package called Zipkin. It's used for tracing a request. Like, for example, you know, when you initiate a request from the client and it runs through, this message queue, these web servers. So you need to trace the request to know probably where it failed, whether it failed on the message queue or it failed on the proxy servers, that's the API gateway and stuff and all that. So you just attach an ID, and Zipkin will help you trace the entire request from initiation to destination. I've always been thinking about this visualizer. This thing that when you send, you build something that will feed off Zipkin, take the information from Zipkin, the real-time information, and you can see a request visually pass through your entire infrastructure and get to the last point. That's one way to show your work as a backend developer. If you show that to anybody, as a monitoring tool,
so these things
they're
now,
going to love you.
These things are very, very complex, right? That's why you want to stand out, because you don't have anything.
It's hard. That's why you do it.
Yeah.
You want to stand out of 500 people. You want to go and do simple things.
Yeah. So, like I said, the most important thing locally, start with local jobs.
Yeah.
Then don't go for the go for the simple international jobs. Like there are tech jobs that will never apply. You understand? Yeah. Go for the ones that people like me will not apply.
Even Angel.co, they have some like $500 a month.
Exactly.
Go and start with those ones.
Go and start with
no
those
entry, no barrier of entry.
A lot of people will not apply.
Nobody will care about how much you made for that company.
No.
Once they see, Canada.
Once they see a US company.
They're like, psh.
Once they see a lot of companies, once they see US on your CV, like it's just,
even if it's internship, unpaid, go and collect it. At the beginning.
It opens a lot of doors for you, because everybody feels US is, yes,
so
yes, it's good.
I think this last one is just okay. I think it's already answered, because like when a brand new year, what are the things that people can do to target particular jobs or markets? For example, like when I say jobs, we're being more specific about job, but I just say market, like AI now and stuff. Like a lot of the courses I've done, in fact, all the courses I've been doing for LinkedIn, that I've been creating for LinkedIn since last year, have all been based on AI.
Yeah,
I've all been based on AI, and that's because I saw AI. I'm like, well, I'm not an AI engineer.
Yeah,
I'm an enthusiast. So where I want to play is I want to help people add AI to their product. I'm not going to be building the models and be training the models and stuff like that. Let me do a little bit of it, but I'm not going to be doing all that. And I started doing all these small experiments. And before you know it, it turned to courses on LinkedIn now, and I've been involved. I've been involved in like 5 of them. That's the new market, and I'm getting into that market through even a different. People would think, if you want to get into AI, become an AI engineer or whatever.
Yeah.
So you too, you've seen different opportunities. Coming up as a developer, you say, Golang. I think the request for Golang. Like right now, I'm seriously watching Zig. I'm watching Zig. Even Born. This Born
is growing.
Born was created with Zig. That's what makes it so fast. And there have been a lot of benchmarks recently that Zig is killing them in speed test.
Born is faster than Node.js.
Yeah, Born is faster than Node.js. So those are new technologies, and I'm already I'm looking into this. I study. So how do you target like jobs, markets, new markets, and stuff like that?
All right. So the answer to this question is 2 ways. All right. First of all, you want to be there when they start hiring. You want to be the first set of people.
Yeah.
That they see. But also, you want a job that everybody is looking for.
Demand.
A demand. You want something. You want to learn a skill.
And those two mutually exclusive.
Yeah, exactly. So now it depends on the kind of person you are.
Yeah.
You understand? It depends on the kind of person you are. Like me now, I've always been someone that, like I said, I like trying out new stuff. I like novel stuff. Right? That was why I started looking into Golang, because not many people were doing Golang. When I was doing Node.js, right? Namecheap was not
hosting Node.js.
Was not hosting Node.js.
A lot of guys were. It took a while before
like
all those guys started hosting Node.js.
Yeah,
so
nobody was hosting Node.js.
GoDaddy.
Nobody. You had to use a VPS server.
Heroku was the one that broke the.
You had to use you have to get your own. You have to get your own machine and then use. So it depends on. I'll say it depends on like your kind of person, right? It depends on your kind of person.
Are you a risk taker or you like to play safe? Yeah.
So not the one where I'll tell you to go and learn AI tooling now. You learn AI tooling and then you'll be like that guy on FK show.
Just wasted my time.
And then your guy that lets React now is getting, job offers. You're not letting him rest because everybody is using React. So it depends on who you are as a person and what you want. If you are just looking for money, you just want to get a job that pays you sharp, you don't have time.
But you have to deal with competition.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's I'm thinking like that. No, you can't have the best of both worlds.
You have to be okay with earning less. Right? Because when there's so many competition, the price.
Yeah.
You understand?
The employers are more in control.
Yeah, so you're paid less. So you need to adjust for that. And then I can say, go for the one in demand. And then when you've gotten that one, when you're okay, you can start exploring. And it's not like you have, you make 5 million, you carry your own 5 million, go and put aside Bitcoin. No. Keep 4 million, carry 1 million first. Put it Bitcoin. Yeah, so that's how it is. So if you are someone that you're in a hurry, you need something stable, you can go for a skill that is in high demand, get a job, and then you can start exploring from there.
Okay.
And if you are someone that is already all right, maybe you're a young guy, because I started programming when I was very young, when I was in my father's house.
Yeah, but some people are all right. Some people are, because I think the advantage of the risk takers is for two people.
Yeah.
In my own opinion.
Okay.
The first set of people are the people that you've talked about. You are okay.
Yeah.
You can take risk. You have savings. You have
everything in place.
Experience, everything. And also new people. New people that, when I say new people, I'm not saying it in terms of you are new to tech. No. I'm talking about your time in life. Like when we were in university, 21, 22, if AI is the new thing, we are ready to do it.
Yeah.
Why? Because we don't need plenty money to live life.
Yeah.
We don't need plenty money. So we will rather build ourselves
for
the emerging market. Because when we start becoming adults, that is the market that is going to be mainstream.
Yeah. So, and that was the point I was getting to. When I was talking about, when I was in my father's house. I was saying about my father's house where I didn't have any problem. Food, there is food. My mom is a Yoruba. She's the Yoruba part of Kogi.
Okay.
Understand? Kaba women, they feed their children very well. We eat food. My friends leave their house to come to my house to eat on Sundays. My guys are like, guy, your mother they cook. so there is I've never been hungry before. There is food. You eat and you get. So I didn't have any problems.
I take risk.
Exactly. So when everybody was doing PHP, I was doing Node.js. Even though there was no demand, for Node.js.
Yeah.
In fact, you couldn't host Node.js.
In Nigeria, you go even the company where you met me, I was the one that changed their stack to Node.js.
Yeah, you told me.
They were on C#.
You told me. There was no, now you go online and then you see companies looking for, even Paystack was using PHP. BytePower was using PHP. Ebuka was the one that switched BytePower from PHP to Node.js. And it was with fights. He insisted like, no, I am switching you guys. He told me about it. So even when I met Ebuka, some parts of BytePower, you understand, we are still like,
so running on PHP.
Paystack was using PHP. You understand? So they were moving to Node.js. I know of now most of their stacks now, runs Node.js. But that was how new the market was then.
True.
But me, I knew I wanted to build myself for again. I don't know. I don't want to say I was very smart when I was young. But
you're just hungry.
Because now that I'm looking back at the things, I made a lot of smart decisions. A very smart decision. Like the Akarank test. Nobody around me was doing Akarank, but I just knew this thing can come in handy.
It was just like when we started programming. Then who was hiring? You're talking about demand. Who was hiring programmers? Who was hiring? Programmers are people that they know people that do business and they convince them to do websites or internal application. Those were the programmers. There were no companies like, oh, this company that does.
And again, programming was it was looked like it was something that seemed like graphics design.
Yeah, like,
that was how they looked at programmers.
Like a hobby. And
in fact, graphic designers then were more. In fact, they rated them higher than programmers.
We're talking of programming before Jumia, programming before Eyowo. A lot of people don't even know that there was a company called Eyowo. That was like one of the very first fintech companies ever in Nigeria. The first payment integration I did, it was Eyowo integrated. You can still they have gone under now. They even tried to rebrand and everything, but they've gone under now. When I wanted to integrate with them, they give like list of 20 things that you are supposed to do to integrate, including they will check your backend self. You give them login to check your backend and all those kind of things. So then programmers,
it was like graphics design.
Programmer is just like you have and like graphic designers there, you have connection. So this company will tell you to do this thing. That company will tell you. That was how it was.
And that time it doesn't look like a real job. It looks
like a smart decision now.
Yeah. But that time they didn't sit like a real job. Like, I'm a programmer. What are you doing?
What do you do? You just sit in front of the computer all day. It felt callous that time, like you devote all your life. And then I even had there was a guy that took this kind of big risk. He was a year behind me, Tosin. He left school and started it's also crazy. He left school, started a small IT company in front of the plaza, or in the plaza in front of school. Like he dropped out of school and started an IT company in front of the plaza, in the plaza that is in front of the school itself. And by the time his mates started getting to IT, because he did computer science, by the time his mates started getting to 400 level, because that's the year we do IT, 3 of them did IT with people that he dropped out of their class. They did IT with him. And Tosin then, he was like in Bauchi, then he was like, if they count IT people that do it as a business, I can say it's one of the maybe 3 people that do it then. So even the biggest hotel in Bauchi then, was the one that was helping them do IT services. So there was monopoly there. If you can take the risk, if you have the connection. So those things look like a smart decision now. Why? Because the industry blew. But then, do you even have the brain to make this bad decision? You just learned what you were doing. So, you were just
so that's why I was saying I wouldn't say I was making smart decisions as well. But yeah, that time also I also wanted to, like I said, the reason why I learned Golang then was because I know there was a growing demand for it, and because of money too. Yeah, I know Golang dev on average are paid.
Oh yeah, they
paid more than
till now.
Yeah, because it's not saturated like JavaScript. Everybody is doing JavaScript.
And because jobs.
Yeah.
Jobs.
So Golang guys, finding really, really good Golang guys. I feel like that was even the reason why Janity hired me. Because then I couldn't even, what could I offer to what they are doing? I was just one guy. I wasn't even done with school then. I didn't even have a BSc computer science. You're building cloud infrastructure. Yeah, and then there's one guy from Nigeria. So I feel like the fact that I was doing Golang and there weren't a lot of Golang guys.
And if you can take risk, you will enjoy monopoly.
Yeah.
If you cannot take risk, if you're a family man with children, and you are looking for money tomorrow, go and learn React or Angular or Vue and get job and just face the competition. Try to be the best you can be, but at least you will see jobs. So I can't thank you enough for coming. This didn't even feel like we're doing a video. It just felt as if we just have one of our G's, because what we don't know, this is how our normal G sounds like too. We don't. It's not different, and I hope that everybody has been watching. If you have been watching till this point, you really need a remote job. So I commend you. You really need it. So I hope you've been able to get 1 or 2 things. We'll try to share links to some of the resources that you mentioned in the video description. And Shegun, thanks very much. I'm sure we'll see again for another thing. Maybe we'll come and talk infrastructure, because you like talking about that. I love talking
maybe
about
a mock interview. You do a mock interview for me.
There are even these videos I will probably start doing where we'll come and argue things like Mac and Windows.
All right.
Yeah. I want to bring 3 people here in React Angular. Bring 3 people here. You with your Mac. People that have used it well, because like Linux now, big Obina. I've been using links for years. You definitely represent Mac, and maybe Oyinda represent Windows. Oyinda he has never used Mac in his life. So what kind of wonderful discussions that people can learn from. So thank you very much. So that's been everything. Till we see another resource person again, I remain your bro in tech, FK.